All right, all right, all right. How are you guys doing today? Just give me a second to update some stuff over here, and then we'll go ahead and start talking about both the races today. I'm sure I'll bring the stuff up on the screen a bit, but I do want to, because my computer had to restart. It just froze up on me, and I need to reopen everything. Man, the whole qualifying thing for Xfinity is quite frustrating when you change the lineup. When you change the starting lineup at least 3 times this week, because you can't input correct finishing positions from last race. So I do need to update the Xfinity series and put Colin Garrett starting 30th, because that changed about 3 times. But other than that, everything's all good to go. Let's go ahead and start talking about the truck series right here. I'm going to be shocked if we don't have a caution every 20 laps in the truck series. Like, if you guys want to talk about playoff strategies and stuff for people, you can. But for me, I'm in the boat of playoff points and strategy and everything is so important it's not important. Like, if you look at a circle of like important, or not important, little important, need to focus on it, super important, and then not being important. It's so important it's close to not even being important for DFS. It's a variable that is going to be so massive. It's just better to just not even give a shit about it and just play the guys that we think should be leading laps. And I truly believe this is going to be a wreck fest. When we look back at the race last year, there's a wreck pretty much every 22 laps in the first stage. Stage 2, there was like a wreck every like 18 laps, and then in the last 6 laps of the race, we had a wreck like every 10 laps. And the leaders just kept on wrecking each other. We had Sheldon Creed get spun at the end of the race. We had John Hunter Nemechek get spun at the end of the race. I think it's going to be the same thing here, and so that's why I'm saying that like the playoff implications are so massive. Let's not even care about them, and either build lineups that chase lap leaders, or just completely, chase place differential. And in laps like that, it's like, only have one dominator, to where you either play Nemechek, Gillen, Rhodes, or Creed, and then you just focus on place differential from there. I'm running 6 lines today for both races. For the truck series, I have 2 that is just basically trying to get every lap led as possible, and then the other 4 are just, expecting this race to be a complete joke and for them to just tear a lot of stuff up. Let me go ahead and bring this up over here so we can kind of talk about these fellers here. So for me, it still goes back to playing a ton of guys in the back. None of this changes. This is the exact guys that I like. If we talk about like who I have in the player pool, I'm not using Taylor Gray. I think Taylor Gray is a bad play. I think Tanner Gray is a bad play. I think that's bad chalk. People always play Tanner Gray, and people always play Taylor Gray when they're in these situations, whereas I'm just all over Chris Hackett. Like, I'm going to play a shitload of Chris Hackett. I'm going to play a shitload of Jack Wood. I'm going to play a shitload of Dawson Cram. I don't see a reason to really get different from there. I'm not playing Sage Karam. No reason to. I'm playing Parker, playing Howard, playing Heim. I think Corey Heim's going to be pretty popular back here. But from what I'm seeing, like, nobody's really talking about Jack Wood. People are kind of scared to play Chris Hackett, and whereas these are short track guys. Like, if there's one place where I want to play, somebody from the K&N series, some joke of a short track ringer who's, a hometown hero, but he can't really do anything in the trucks, it's going to be Martinsville, because, I want to play guys that are literally just born and bred on short tracks. And so that's why I'm leaning more towards Chris Hackett, Cram, Jack Wood. Like, even Cram, like, he's talked about it multiple times, like, he's a short track guy. We typically see, and we've seen Dawson Cram perform well at the intermediate tracks this year, but when we look at where Dawson Cram normally performs well at, it's the short tracks. And so I think all these guys are underpriced back here, and they can easily fit in lines, whether you're just if you're chasing place differential. It starts with Hill. You can throw Barry in there. I'm not that high on Barry. I think he's going to carry more ownership than he should, but I like Heim. I like everybody in the A's back here, from Timmy Hill on back, is who I'd focus on in terms of stacking from the back. And then up here, I have lines that have multiple guys starting inside the top 4. As I said, I have 2 lines that I'm basically chasing the lap sled and the fast laps if this race doesn't go stupid, which I think it will. So that's kind of how we're approaching it right now. And we'll talk about the Xfinity Series probably in like 20 minutes or something. But I mean that's how it is. I think the pool is like 16 drivers. The real pool is probably like 12. I mean I like playing place differential in this race. I think it's going to be an absolute shit show and an absolute joke of a race if it is anywhere like last year's fall race for the Truck Series. Like that's just how I think it is. And with the whole, like no, nobody's really locked in. They're all kind of having to race. It's going to get absolutely stupid. Like I would not be shocked if we see Zane Smith take someone out late in the race. I wouldn't be shocked if we see Sheldon Creed get spun late, if we see John Nemechek get spun late, if we see Gillen or even Rhodes get spun late. Like, I fully believe they're just going to race like a bunch of idiots, especially at the end of this race. Like, whatever lineup is winning the GPP on like lap 165 is not going to win on lap 200. So that's mainly my approach for Martinsville. Let me go ahead and take this back off so I can read chat. I should probably put this on this side. Let's see. Oh, Dave Goodrich, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you for the $9.99 donation. Yeah, thank you. As everybody already knows, like this is kind of my last weekend of being live here because I'll be in Phoenix next week, and so yeah, thank you for the support, Dave. I appreciate the support from everyone, but seriously, like thanks for opening it up tonight or this morning, Dave, with the $9.99 super chat. We've been doing really, actually in trucks, oddly enough, trucks has been my most consistent series this year. I think out of the last 8 races, I've had a lineup that finished inside the top 20 points in 6 of those last 8. And Talladega was really good for us. And it's more so me just building lines, expecting chaos to happen. So I'm really high on place differential today because I think they're gonna tear up a lot of shit in the Xfinity Series. Let me try and see. I know this is Bob Pockrass, and it's not the greatest place to go off of. But even I was looking at even the NASCAR website changed the starting grid 3 times this week. This is what's kind of frustrating me over here. So let's kind of go through it together in the week. Because I got a ransom here while we let you guys put some questions in the chat for me to answer. Let's go back to Monday. Where are we at here? Okay, so entering the week. This is the first original starting grid. And then they went to it and they were like, oh, owners, we accidentally we messed up. Adjust the 26 to the 30, or adjust Colin Garrett to 30th. And then not only did Bob retweet the first starting grid again late in the week, NASCAR.com also changed it again to this one. So we went back to the original starting grid to where we put Colin Garrett here. And then obviously, like, Mike Harmon, what are you doing? Like, announcing you're going to race the night before. Like, obviously you don't have a sponsor. If you look at his car, it's a fucking joke of a car. And then, correct it as of Wednesday. Like, that's bullshit. Like, why is this such an issue coming up with the starting grid? And it's not just Bob. Like, Bob's obviously just following whatever NASCAR is putting out. But they changed the Xfinity starting grid 3 times this week. Like, what is going on? So that's just the frustration that I've had this weekend making this. Let me see. So let's see, Sterling. How many guys inside the top 10 are we playing? Let's take a gander. Obviously not you, but let me bring these lineups in. I'll put this back on the screen here. So looking at my lineups that I'm playing today. Let's see. This is kind of an ambiguous answer, but I got a third of the lineups playing more than 2 guys in the top 10. I got a third of the lineups playing 1 guy in the top 10. I got a third of the guys playing 2 guys in the top 10. As I said, I basically divided the 6 lineups because I know it's an $8, but I really don't want to put like this is a race where I really don't want to make a ton of lineups because it's gonna get crazy. But like I got 2 lineups, like I said when I first entered or when I first started this. I'm building 2 lines that just try and get, if this race would go green for whatever reason, get all the lap leaders in that, and then building for chaos, for like extreme chaos situations for 2 lineups, and then 2 other lineups are ones where I think most place differential plays come through if they're under $8,000, if that makes sense. Let's see here. Will your PD lineups have at least 1 hog or all? So, and so I'm looking at the chat late. I was looking at the lines, and so when we look at the lineups that I'm building for place differential, only 1 lineup I have does not care about a dominator. All the other lines I either have Nemechek, Creed, Gilman in the lines, even Rhodes. So 5 lines are still chasing, at least 1 lap leader. 1 is just expecting everybody inside the top 5 to wreck, which I think that line will actually still cash. It probably won't take it down, but that's a line that's obviously going to be very heavy on the more expensive place differential plays like Infinger, like Kligerman. I don't have Barry in that line, but I know it's 200 laps, but if they end up having as many wrecks as I think they will, then it negates fast laps because we don't reward fast laps under yellow. It'll negate laps led because the guy who leads is most likely going to get wrecked at the end of the race, looking at how it kind of was last year. And so there's a situation where I wouldn't suggest it. Like if you're doing 1 line, I think it's kind of stupid to do that. But when, I'm entering multiple lines, I can afford to either have that lineup, finish outside the top 35% of lineups if the race goes green or if there is legit a lap leader. And then it's probably a line that'll finish inside the top 20% of lines if they end up wrecking. So if that makes sense there. Like Harmon hopping in makes me feel like he doesn't do the drug test. I was like, why do we not have a driver determined for that? Which, and it's funny that some people are wanting to play Mike Harmon. I saw some people talking about it on Twitter and stuff. Like, obviously, you guys have not watched Mike Harmon in Xfinity DFS because remember when the world shattered when he stepped out of the car and put Weatherman in the car or put a Curry in his car, and we saw how much faster those cars were with Mike Harmon out. Like I don't see Mike Harmon being it's just crazy. Like he'll be slow. I don't think he's on drugs. He's just a guy who wants to be a race car driver, but he's not anymore. I need to post here real quick. But yeah, the whole Mike Harmon thing is like when you look at Martinsville, for whatever reason, this is where all the old timers really show up to race. Probably because they realize that they are not going to get killed or anything. But obviously, Mike Harmon's here. We've saw Carl Long run this race before. We've seen even Roger. I mean, Roger's running this race. Like, this is probably the one racetrack where these guys think or feel comfortable coming in and knowing that they're not just going to have a horrible injury at this track. I just find it funny that we always see all the old timers show up, or not the old timers, but like the legit like track owners. If I had to take a gander at who I think is going to be very chalky today, I think it's going to be Nemechek. I think Enfinger will be quite chalky. I'm trying to picture where the chalk is outside of like the obvious plays, like a Corey Heim. Like obviously we know that's going to be chalky, but I do think Tanner Gray is going to be popular. Maybe not like chalk, like not over 20%, but he's going to be popular enough to be there. I think Cram's going to be there. I think Gray's going to be there. I think the public is going to go to Josh Berry. They might go to, Ankram's expensive. They can't really get into a ton of lines. They're probably going to go Kraus too. So I think that's where a majority of the public is going to go. And you can kind of see where my interests are compared to that. Like I love Jack Wood, man. Like he's a GMS truck, starting 31st or starting 34th. $7,500, a range where I don't think many people are going to get to. If you're building a place differential line, like I think it makes a lot of sense to play Hacker, Wood, Cram, probably Kligerman or Heim or Howard in those. Like probably 3 or 4 of those guys having your place differential lines. Like that just makes a lot of sense for me. Um, yeah, so the Danny Bone play, I rewatched, and I was answering a question like this in another Discord. So the Danny Bone play last year, Danny Bone rode inside the top 16 the entire race. But as we go back and look, I'll even bring up the, I won't bring up the race, but I'll even bring up the racing reference sheet. As we look back at the Martinsville race last year, they just wrecked constantly. It was just a short run race. Nobody could pass. Nobody could do anything because we had so many cautions. So let me bring this up here. So this was last year's fall race for the Truck Series, and let's take a gander at where Bone finished. Okay, so we had Danny Bone finish 7th. As I've kind of been saying, you know, we had a lot of good guys get wrecked late in the race. Sheldon Creed got wrecked with about 20 laps to go. He drove his way back up to 8th. We saw John Nemechek get wrecked as well. Austin Hill had a major motor issue. Brett Moffitt got wrecked. And so when we look at the people who actually got wrecked out who had good cars, you know, you had Hill obviously have mechanical issues. Gill and Tanner Gray, Ryan Truex, Moffitt. So that's 5, you know, competitive cars in there. When we see that half the field got lapped, or up to, you know, 17th got wrecked and Sam Mayer got wrecked on the last lap. So up to 17 guys were, let me change that. Only 17 guys were left on the lead lap at the end of the race. When we look at the amount of cautions that we had, like, I wasn't shitting you when I was saying, you know, average green flag run 9.8 laps, which really got shot down at the end. Like, the final stage, the last 50 laps, you know, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 cautions in the last 50 laps. That really brought that down. At least in the beginning, you had a 13 lap green flag run. 27 and 28 were the longest green flag runs we ever had. You know, late in the race, 6 laps, 2 laps, 4 laps, 2 laps, 2. Like, what the hell are we doing? Percentage of race ran under caution, 41. I think it's going to be very close to that, if not even more, this reason. And so Danny Bone, in my opinion, does not work in a race that goes green. I don't think this race will go green. However, him starting 14th, $4,900, he can work. And he'll certainly work if he stays inside the top 15. I just think that he is going to be outscored by people back here, especially if it does come into a wreck fest. I don't think you necessarily need the $4,900 for Danny Bone. And I think guys back here will work. I mean, this was a mess last year, man. So I think there's a real chance that we get an absolute mess again. That's what I'm saying, man. If I don't see a wreck every 15 laps after probably lap 40, I'm going to be disappointed in these truck drivers. And it's 40 trucks, man. At least last year we had 37. This year we got a full car field. I mean, that's wild. They're gonna wreck, man. There's no way they don't. It's gonna be a joke, and so that's why I'm building. Like, let's take a gander and kind of act like we're doing the same starting grid again. So, you know, Creed starts first, leads 65 laps, and gets wrecked, able to drive back up through the field. But if you played a lot of people who started inside the top, who needed to lead laps, you know, Zane Smith starting second, finishing third, leading 20 laps, it's probably not going to get it done today. You know, 2 out of the guys who started in the top 4 last year finished outside the top 20, but Hill had a mechanical issue. Can't really hold that against him. Matt Crafton, basically the same situation this year as he was last year, starting 5th. Didn't lead a whole lot of laps. I don't have him leading a whole lot of laps. Yeah, when we start really looking at these guys in the top 10, you know, Enfinger, obviously because he was able to get there at the end and lead the last quarter of the race, you know, because they just kept on wrecking. Outside of that, a lot of place differential plays did come through. You know, Raphael, or actually, let me change that. Where are we at? Let me change it actually. Yeah, like, you know, Hocevar came through, We had BJ McLeod actually gained 6 positions in the 33, which was quite shocking. We had Dawson Cram show up. We had Timmy Hill show up. Timmy Hill, that's why I like Timmy Hill and Dawson Cram, especially in a race like this. I think they're going to gain positions. 45, Trevor Bayne, which I think is a very similar play to Chris Heckert today. Even Danny Bone, basically just didn't get involved in any of the wrecks. Stuart Friesen. When we're looking back at this race here, who kind of fits those molds? And you can throw, you can throw Kraus in there again. You could probably throw Holmes and Ankrum. Even Sauter probably has a higher chance of working out than we're probably initially giving him. But that's why I like these guys in the back more than the other guys. So that's my little argument. Why I'm probably higher on place differential this week than most. Danny Bone, I'm not going to get to Danny Bone again. If he does what he does again, or if he does again what he did last year, I just won't be on him. that's just how we're at. Yeah, I think it's going to be a wreck fest. Oh, that's just me. Let me just refresh this real quick. Any other questions or any other things you guys got for the truck series before I kind of move on to talking about the Xfinity series? As I said, I do need to update this stupid starting grid. So, yeah, dude, they're still not there. That's ridiculous. I don't know what's going on, man. I think all I need to do, I gotta fix this real quick. I think all I need to do is just change Colin Garrett. I don't need to move everything around, do I? We got JJ starting 28th. Barry's 29. Okay, so I move these fellas right there. 34 is dead last. Boyd, Pardis, Light is 37th. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're just changing Garrett. And we're just putting Garrett in 30th, and we'll be good to go. And then let me just update the DraftKings points on this end, and we'll be good to go. And I can probably upload this to Patreon in a second. Okay, it doesn't change Garrett at all. He's still a great play, in my opinion. Check this chat real quick. All right, so let's see what's going on here. Austin Hill, good play. Yeah, like Austin Hill seems like a slam dunk play for me. I have good old Austin Hill. I have him in one lineup right now. I just ended up not get to him a ton. I might change that to another lineup. I might end up having 2 lineups with Austin Hill. Easy way to get to 5x. I think people that are scared to play him are looking back at his race at his recent races here, and we just discussed how he did in the Martinsville race last year. Had a mechanical issue. He had an issue in 2019 in the fall race, and in the 2018 fall race. And that's basically just been, Hattori. Like, he's just had really bad luck here. When we look at how he races at like actual short tracks, 5th at Richmond this year, 19th at Gateway, yet again ran into an issue in Gateway because it turned into a wreck fest. I believe he got involved in the John Nemechek crash there. But Richmond is probably the best track to look at this year, and it's quite weird that we haven't really gone to a whole lot of short tracks in the Truck Series this year. But I think Austin Hill is a guy who's going to finish 7th or 6th most times. Just depends on if he ends up getting wrecked. And I'll update this heat map in a bit. Let me look. 2, 3. Good thing is I can just update some of these guys here. Just oops. Update that, and then we can chit chat around the. Okay, so that's updated. That's updated. That's updated. David Starr's updated. Stephen Light, Partis, Boyd, and Mike Carver. Okay, cool. I've updated Xfinity, and it's the same place, so that's fine. Still like Jade and like Colin. Okay, cool. All right, Xfinity is all updated. I'll send that on a Patreon when I finish this video. At least that's the second race. Okay, so what's going on, Dave? How you doing today? We're doing PayPal is better. Put friends. Do friends. Because you know, I'm your friend. But yeah, if you do goods and services, you end up paying a fee, not me. Yeah. So thank you for the donations, everyone. I appreciate it. We got 2 Daves in here donating today, Dave Goodwrench and Dave Carroll. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support this year, and I've had a lot of fun doing it this year. All right, so let's go ahead and move over to Xfinity real quick. Now that I got that finished. Let me just update these real quick for the video. So I still love Colin Garrett. I think Colin is a pretty much slam dunk play. I'm probably gonna have like 80%. I might even go 100% Colin Garrett, honestly. Just one less variable to really work with. I think Colin's going to work most times out of not if he finishes around 18th, and I think that's where he's going to probably end up being. Same thing with Jade. I like Jade a lot in the Truck Series. I like Joe Graff Jr. as well if you're punting. I do have a lineup with Joe Graff Jr. in it. AO, not playing him. Not playing Ryan Ellis, not playing Matt Mills. At the moment, don't have a lineup with David Starr. I'm probably going to end up having a line with Stephen Light. I think he'll work fine. I think Preston Pardus is bad chalk. And I'm not using Boyd or Mike Harmon. The Preston Pardus argument always stems from the well, you know, he's a road course guy. He does well at the road courses. But let me bring up the road course thing right quick from Pierce's sheet, because obviously you're not going to be using the road course data right now. Let's see, Xfinity, where were we at? What was the last Xfinity road course? It was the Roval. Let me bring up the Roval real quick. Roval. Okay, so. And obviously, I never show Pierce's sheet because I obviously just want to keep it for the people that pay for it. But I think this is a great example of why I enjoy the sheet so much. Let me just find Preston Pardus real quick on here. And this isn't going to mean much because it is it's the Roval. But when we look at Preston Pardus here, and this is why I like, because this sheet is so easy to read. I'm most likely going to be going half in with Pierce next year to keep the sheet alive because he's been extremely busy. But when we look at Preston Pardus at the road courses where everybody just fucking preaches play him, and I'm always like, look, Pardus is gonna get run the fuck over. He comes from a much cleaner type of racing, and it's equivalent to why I think people who run IndyCar and other road course series struggle in NASCAR, because NASCAR is legit like full contact. Like people just run each other over. So when we look at Preston Pardus's finish at the road courses, you know, we have, you know, a 33rd at Daytona Road Course this year, 31st at Daytona Road Course last year, 35th this year at Indy, 10th at Indy last year, 30th. Like, look at all these finishes here. Okay, Road America, a place where he's got 3 races if you count COTA this year, 3 races where he hasn't been run over, 4 if you count Indy. Outside of that, he's getting wrecked towards the end of these races, and it's not him. Like, Pardus is not wrecking at all, like due to mistakes that he makes. He's getting taken out by people late in these races, and so a guy who shows constantly that he's getting run over by people, I just can't believe that he's going to show up and be, respected at Martinsville. And so I think we see Partis end up finishing probably around the back half of the 20s, because I think he ends up getting wrecked late. So that's my argument for Preston Partis and why I don't like why I don't like him. And I think Partis is going to be overowned. Like he might push like 35% tonight or today. So let me see. Okay, cool. Thank you for sending that, Dave. I'll look at it in a second. Yeah, this is Preston Partis's first ever oval race in NASCAR, which is, even in my video, like I didn't realize Partis was in the starting grid until I was doing the projections, and then I started the video and I was like, this is, I know why they're putting him in this car, but I think this is like the worst track to introduce Partis to this field. I think he gets ran over. So that's just me. Meme inflation. That's so funny. Let's see. When we look at Brandon Brown, I have, what do I got? Let me copy this real quick here. What do I got Brandon Brown projected for? Got so many tabs open back here. Oh, when my computer crashed, I had like 12 of them open. Chrome just absolutely junks your processor. If we could get this to load. Okay, well, this is loading. Like, off my head, I'm pretty sure I'm projecting Brandon Brown for like a 14th, 13th place finish. So hopefully this thing will load. All right, so what are we giving Brandon Brown? I'm giving Brandon Brown 14th. With that, he ends up scoring around 32 points. So just not going to do it for me. If it was a intermediate track, I would certainly be on board of Brandon Brown, because I think this is underpriced. If he, like, even at Phoenix next week, if he's like 71, 72, $7,000 again, I would easily play him, because I think he can finish 9th or 8th. But this is another race to where I'm leaning more towards these guys just racing like a bunch of baboons and wrecking each other and playing really dumb. So maybe that elevates him, but I just see Brandon Brown running, 13th, 14th, 15th today. And this is a race where I don't think the lap leader is going to get wrecked late in this race, because they can usually pull away from the field. We saw earlier this year, even when Josh Berry won the race, we saw Gregson up there at times, we saw Ty Gibbs up there at times, but you never really saw the leader get wrecked. Sure, he might have been shuffled back on a restart or something, but they weren't just dumping the leader, and I don't think we'll see that. And so the Xfinity race is the one where I do want to focus on probably getting 2 lap leaders, and that's mostly going to be Ty Gibbs for me. He's my priority in that. I'll be pairing him with AJ, Cindric, Henrik, Gregson a lot. I'll probably be over the field on Gregson. I like Gregson quite a bit. I like playing him at short tracks. And I like playing him at road courses too. He just had a terrible year. Horrible luck again this year. But the Xfinity race is the one where I want to focus more on lap leaders. I still think Colin Garrett's a good play. I think this just helps Jade Buford, because obviously I had him. I basically just gave him one more spot than when I had him, because obviously I had Jade starting 30th, blah, blah, blah. I think Jade's a great play. I think Joe Graff Jr., it needs to be considered for punts. The same thing with Natalie Decker. People want to shit on Natalie Decker, and trust me, I will as well. But she has been racing lately. She's been doing a lot of road course races, a lot of short track races. If you look it up recently, you'll see that she won an asphalt race. It was a heat race basically that they're promoting as her winning, but she's still running a lot of races lately. And I actually do think like Natalie has probably has more experience for these flat tracks, because that's what the majority of the short tracks across America are. Almost more like a paperclip. Not obviously they're not exactly like Martinsville, but if you look at any like 3/8 mile oval, or half mile oval in America that they run late models on, and Bandeleros or whatever car, whatever car you grew up running on asphalt, whether it be a stock car, hobby stock, whatever it is. I think she's going to feel more comfortable here than we expect her to. And she's in our motorsports car. Like, I know it's Natalie Decker, but I don't hate her. I don't hate Joe Graff Jr. to punt here. I think it's easier to get to Josh Berry than it is in the truck race. This Jordan Anderson truck, I'm going to make an argument that super speedways and short tracks and road courses, the equipment doesn't matter as much. Like, there's not a big gap. As I've said before, I think the big teams have an advantage on the aerodynamic or aero-dependent tracks. And obviously Martinsville is not one of those. Obviously, you don't want to be missing your bumper cover or your front end or your front clip in this race. But I think the Jordan Anderson car is pretty much going to be on par with the cars here in this race. I don't think Barry wins this race, but I'm not going to be shocked if I see him finish 6th or 5th today. I think he's going to perform better than some people are expecting, which is kind of weird that we've seen the flip of perception in the Jordan Anderson car. Like, this whole year I've been like, oh, it's junk, it's bullshit, don't play it. And then the one week where everybody's seeming like, Josh Berry's going to be a disadvantage, like, this is kind of where I want to play that car. I think 10-8's a bit of a discount on that, and Josh Berry. So that's where we're at right now. Let's see. I think he's going to crush, not just to feast the fries, but part is that he's going to crush. Oh, you mean crash. If he crush DFS or... Oh, yeah, he's going to crush something, man. Let's see. Do you know if they... Separation... the Legends race at Charlotte? I don't know, let me look. I know they changed it a while back. I'm pretty sure it was the Bojangles million race there. Those fucking Legends are getting up there, man. Let's see, the Big Money 100. No, it's not that one. Legends Million presented by... Yeah, I think they stopped doing that race. Pretty... What is this? Yeah, that's... I'm pretty sure they stopped doing that race. Pretty sure COVID helped kill that race there. I've been looking to buy a Legend car for about the last 3 years now. We're just slowly getting... That's mainly what I'm putting a lot of the DFS winning stores is the fun to buy me a damn Legends car so I can go racing. Or cheap modified. Yeah. Yeah, I think Hemrick won one of those races. Hemrick did win one. Hold on a minute. I'm pretty sure Hemrick won $1 million Legends race. Hold on. Because everybody's like, oh, Daniel Hemrick never wins. And what is this? This is a Facebook post. That just hit my mind. I'm pretty sure Daniel Hemrick won that Legends race. And I'm pretty sure that's how he's funding all this. Yeah. I mean, everybody's shitting on Hemrick for not winning races. In the race that captivated his career, Daniel Hemrick remembers the Legends race, the Legends Million at Charlotte. Yeah, so everybody needs to shut the fuck up about Hemrick not winning anything because he won a race that paid $250,000. Let's see. 600. Yeah, 2010. Yeah. What do you think the Harrison Burton overs? How much are invest? I know we're kind of getting on a tangent. I'll answer the Harrison Burton question. I have no idea what Harrison Burton's going to be. I'm not going to play him. I think his ownership is probably like 17%. I think it's probably around there. It can't be anything more because it's only a 5,000 person field. When is that slate start actually? And Dave, it really depends on where you get them from. Like, when I was building the cars, we'd sell our motors. This is not Legend. These are like A mods. We'd sell our motors for around $25,000. Sometimes 20, probably sometimes a bit higher. A roller that we'd sell would be like 10 to 15 grand. I've seen cars sold at the track in cash for like $30,000 to $35,000. So that's like modifieds, like A mods and stuff like that. And that's not even buying the tire. That's just buying the car, turnkey, ready to go. Obviously to go racing in modifieds, you need probably to be competitive, or at least show up and not make an ass out of yourself. Probably 40 grand, because you got to think about it. You got an $800 fire suit, probably a $600 helmet, your tear offs, your fuel, your gas, your trailer, your tools, your things that you don't really think about, but obviously a vehicle that can tow it. So I mean, rough estimates for like entry level modifieds, like and you can do it on a cheaper level, like don't buy the best car, don't buy a good thing, but rough, you probably need around 20 grand to get in for modifieds. Whereas for Legends, I can tow it with a much cheaper vehicle. Like I don't need my big, I don't need a Dodge 3500 to tow it. I can probably do it with an F-150, buy a smaller trailer. I can only take around 4 tires. Probably don't need to take as many tools to the track. Still need the helmet, the fire suit. I haven't thought about going go-kart racing because I do have a motorcycle helmet that looks pretty cool. But usually in the off season, I can see used Legends cars going for around 6 to 8 ones that I would actually consider buying. Obviously top of the line ones are more 11, 12, 15, a little bit higher. I would go dirt track racing, so normally you can get a discount on them if you buy a used asphalt Legend and take it and convert it to dirt. It's usually cheaper, but I'm still looking probably around 6 to 10,000 on there, not including other things. So it's still a ways down. I'll probably hit the track in 2024. But then a damn aluminum shortage and tire shortage is hurting it. It's a pit. And Sterling, they're around 20. I'm not buying a Legends car for $20,000. I can tell you that. I'm not buying a new Legends car. I'll buy a used one and buy a new motor. A lot. I mean, like him, like who was it? I'm pretty sure. I remember. I think they were trying to scam Jason Jacoby out. If you know who Jason Jacoby is, he used to be an iRacer, and then he was beating his wife. He was a real creep, but a lot of people gave him shit because he was going to get scammed. I think it was from David Gillen's dad. No, David Rudiman's dad. No, not Rudiman. What's Reagan? I think that the Reagan family was going to sell him a Legends car for like $30,000, and like that's a fucking scam. It's expensive wherever you go. It's an expensive hobby. You're not making any money back. And going back to the purse for the K&N series, and so as I kind of just said, how expensive the modifieds and stuff are. I would imagine K&N cars are pretty similar in price to where it's at least a $30,000 machine, not including labor, not including tires, not including probably a good motor, because the tire, like a set of 4 tires, is close to $2,000 for the Legend or for the ARCA cars, and then you see this is the payout for the fucking Phoenix race. Oh my god, dude, this is fucking weak. You're paying for 1 tire. I mean, this is ridiculous, dude. This is wild. Like, no wonder nobody wants to, like, and we already, but this is a joke, absolute joke of a purse, man. It's wild, man. It's absolutely wild. Sorry, I went on a tangent there. The track I'd be racing at is the Vado Speedway Park in Vado, New Mexico. So I'm either racing the Legends or I'm not doing a claimer. Probably not going to do a stock car because that'd be expensive as well. Might buy an X mod, but that's quite a few years down. Why these ARCA guys don't run the All-Star. I don't understand why they don't do that either, Sterling. Like, the ARCA series, it's all for TV. It's all because they're feeding the pipe dream of racing in NASCAR. But the ARCA series is probably one of the worst organized series in America. Like, I would honestly, and that's why I like dirt track racing more. Like, I'd rather follow the USMTS series. I'd rather follow the Tony Stewart's All Star series, the World of Outlaws, the what is it called? I'm in the southern U.S. and so we mainly have USRA sanctioned race dirt car. Like, I'd follow a dirt car series. Like, why are we putting money into ARCA? It makes no sense at all for these drivers. I guess going back to DFS stuff. Um, Similar to the truck series, to where if I'm stacking from the back, I like the idea of playing Yaley, Barry, Garrett, Buford together. I like at least 3 of those 4 drivers. I like Herbst as well. I got Herbst in the line, I know that for sure. Most lineups are probably going to be two of the guys starting inside top 10. Might go 3. I think I have 3 in one line, but it's mainly 2 of these guys, and it's mainly Ty Gibbs. I think I have 80% Ty Gibbs right now, or 4 out of the 60 lines with Ty Gibbs. Might go 5 out of 6. Don't really know yet. But Ty Gibbs was really fast in the first Martinsville race. Yeah, ASCS. Brian Herbert, the announcer for the Lucas Oil ASCS Sprint Car Series, started at the El Paso Speedway Park, which is my home track. And they're fun to watch. I know a lot of guys who race in the ASCS series. I know a lot of racers. It's just a shame I'm kind of in Lubbock. We got a really white trash racetrack here in Lubbock. Like, it's really fucking trashy. So I don't even bother spending my time there unless there are some nights where I'm in the mood to just watch local guys just tear up a shitload of money. That's like once or twice a year. Outside of that, I go back to El Paso and go to Vado. But I mean, dirt track racing is just way more interesting, and it goes back to obviously NASCAR is kind of making a joke out of asphalt racing. I think IndyCar is probably the best ran series. I think it's the most fair in terms of points. Just a shame they run road courses. Road courses are really fun to race if you're the driver. I think watching is pretty boring. F1 is really boring because there's like 8 total passes the entire 2 hours. Which is why I'm not really looking forward to covering F1 next year, because that's gonna be quite boring. Any other DFS questions we got here, or any other DFS things we're looking at? I don't know. Like, I think I really like these slate. Or I really like all 3 slates this weekend because you can make lineups you're comfortable with. Not saying they're going to be optimal, but all the lines I have, I'm fairly happy in. Now, if they fall apart, they fall apart. But I think you can easily play the good plays and play the guys that you want to play. It was like really in at what track? I didn't know you ran sprint cars. That's pretty fun, man. I never ran. Let me change that. I'll save those stories for maybe a cruise control rant. I've never ran a race car. I've done everything. I've done everything but race a car. Worked on them, put them together, transport them, worked on them in the race. I've never put the helmet on and gone myself. Tri-City Speedway. I know where that is. I don't know where Mercer is. That's in Illinois. I recognize that name, but that wasn't where I thought it was. Dude, man, like that's why I get so annoyed with DFS fans who are like, man, these cars are off pace and blah blah blah. Like, they're having a fucking blast. Like I'm giving Mike Harmon a ton of shit. He's gonna have a shitload of fun. I mean, it sucks being laps down. It sucks being in the third lane at Bristol, letting the fast cars by. But there's nothing else he wants to do. Um, I think that's why I recognize it. Yeah, Bowman ran that. Um, yeah, like I mean, there's nothing more entertaining than race. Obviously, I've ran like go karts and stuff. Um, I had a motorcycle for a while. I had a Triumph America 2015, but I got rid of it really quick because I got rear-ended at a stoplight and fucking got rid of that shit because I did not want to die. Um, but that was a lot of fun. Um, I just like racing, man. So we'll get there. Does Self still and Hacker 3 studs work for? I don't know if I'd go with Self. I don't think you need to go Austin Wayne Self if you're already playing those guys. So what's Self at 50 something? Let me look. It's $5,700. Let's take a gander at guys I think you should probably play instead. Self Hill Hacker. I would change that to Hill Hacker Dawson Cram. That's what I would do, Sterling. Or my bad. That's what I would do, Darren. I'd run Cram instead of Austin Wayne Self, just to kind of give you a bit of a buffer in case Cram either gets wrecked or certainly if Austin Self runs into issue. Yeah, when I was helping, so Jimmy Ray is one of the guys that I helped, and we were competing for wins every single night with Ray, and then I also helped out my friend Donovan, who was just a retired guy, and he still races here and there. I just haven't helped him recently because obviously I'm in Lubbock, but we were off pace, and that's not an insult. That's just the equipment that Donovan had, and so I've got to experience both sides of the racing world for about 4 or 5 years, to where when I was helping Jimmy, we were disappointed when we finished fourth because like, hey, we had a good car, put a lot of time and effort into it. Like fourth and fifth and sixth are still a good run, but every week we showed up hoping to win, like having the expectation to win. Whereas when I'd show up with Donovan, we were happy if we just didn't tear the car up, like if nobody hit us and stuff. And dirt track racing changes a lot in what region you're in. I don't know if you've noticed this, Sterling, but like in New Mexico, in Arizona, in Nevada, a lot of guys race clean. Like the Southwest is really, really clean. USMTS is really, really clean. Whereas when you start heading more east, and certainly when you get to more of the dirt car sanctioned series, it seems that they tear a lot more shit up. And so for me, like, I grew up to where I'm like, I say like, it'd be good if we don't tear the car up, but like we never really tore anything up. Like nobody just moved each other out of the way. So I like, obviously I like clean racing. And obviously, if you're at the track, like the nights that you're actually doing stuff at the track, it means you're having a bad night. You're changing stuff on the car. You're having to repair damage. A lot of nights we didn't really do much because we changed some stuff on the setup, but we didn't tear the car up or anything like that. But I've seen what it's like. That's why I like covering this stuff, because I know what the backmarker teams are going through. I know what the top tier teams are going through. Yeah, man. I like racing. I just don't like where NASCAR is going. Let's see what else we got. We're here for about an hour. I think we got 52 minutes until the Truck Series race. Which isn't like, I can't like, who's gonna tear, like, the truck race? Who is legit gonna tear stuff up today? Let me think. I think if I like doing body work, honestly, but if I was a fabricator at GMS, I'd probably be very busy throughout the week with everything we got to fix. Probably Nice too. They tear up a lot of stuff. It's just wild. They tear so much stuff up. It's crazy. Yeah, most people just think we're a bunch of inbred idiots out there racing, to where You know, it's not. Now there are, like I said, the Lubbock West Texas Raceway here in Lubbock is fucking white trash. Like it's, I would not bring people who I need to make a good impression on. I would not bring on that track because it just white trash. Um, Here, let me here we're kind of joking around right here, kind of killing time. This is my oh man, we don't have a view at the of the oh yeah, we do. This is oh yeah, this is Jason Jocelyn. I know who he is. Yeah, we're just putting random stuff up on the video to show stuff. But this is our new track, and this is around 3 million. We got suites. I think they bought the land, built it up. They built it during the coronavirus. But they got suites, beautiful, beautiful restrooms, like a legit like $3 million facility. Top of the line, ton of money in here, like pristine, like it's a really nice stadium. Like the bathrooms, the concourse area is equivalent to like an NHL stadium. It reminds me of like even the bathrooms remind me of like like an NBA stadium as well. Like they put a lot of money into this, and so this is the Vado Speedway Park that we race at, or that is my home track now. Although I live in Lubbock, like this is the track I would go to and looking to race at in the future. Man, we're really off on it. We're not even talking about DFS at this point anymore. But like, and this is just the street stocks. Like, look how many guys we have here. Like, clean. Obviously, we had an incident right here, but a lot of money in these cars. Good infrastructure. Like, people don't wreck each other. People don't tear shit up on purpose. It's like this is the type of racing that I love, and this is the type of racing that I think really outclasses other stuff. We'll talk. I'm sure I'll make a video on it one day where I just kind of yap about the good old days. The good old days, at least until I start racing and everything. Let's see what else. Can't really think of anything else to really cover today related to DFS. I think these are going to be ugly races. Truck race for sure. I think the truck race is going to be really ugly. I think that's about it, guys. I'll kind of stick around, see if you got any last minute questions. We've been here for an hour. I appreciate you guys showing up. We'll be live tomorrow at 11 a.m. with the with Jordan tomorrow. I know he's gonna probably get drunk and party tonight, so that'll be interesting. How you guys doing, FCFM? Good to see you guys come out. And yeah, I mean, congrats on you guys too for sticking around. No offense, I always like to see if somebody sticks around the whole year, or a majority of the season, because every February we get a ton of new DFS content for NASCAR, and it fizzles out by like March because people find this stuff incredibly boring. So, I mean, really hats off to you guys for sticking around. I think you guys produce good content out there. And I wish we had more YouTube content out there, but everybody focuses on the NFL and things like that. But yeah, thank you guys for coming out, supporting me this year, being here. And like I said, tomorrow is probably our last live show for the year up until Speed Weeks next. Not even Speed Week. We don't have Speed Weeks next year. We have the LA Coliseum, so Speed Weeks is dead. So yeah, just thanks for coming out, guys. Thank you for the donations, both Daves. Thank you, Dave Carroll. Thank you for the PayPal donation. Thank you, Dave Goodrich, for the super chat earlier. And I'll be here tomorrow. So thanks for watching, and best of luck today, guys. Have a good Saturday, and enjoy the carnage.